Good morning, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Normally on Thanksgiving Day, first, I'm Father Patrick Smith, pastor here at St. Augustine Catholic Church, for those who don't know me. Normally on Thanksgiving Day, we always celebrate with two liturgies. We have our morning Mass at 8:15 and our ecumenical service, Thanksgiving service, with our sister church, Augustana Lutheran. Turns out this year that both myself and the pastor of Augustana Lutheran are away this week of Thanksgiving. And so I wanted to just record a brief message so that you could get some message from me this year, although we're not having the liturgies. And first, of course, is that, for us, the idea of giving thanks to God is hardly a novel idea. It's something we do all the time, not simply because there's a calendar that says today's Thanksgiving Day, but because this is yet another day that the Lord has made, and we rejoice and are glad in it. One of the blessings and fruits of having a relationship with Jesus Christ, having a relationship with God and knowing God, is that we acquire, and it's a natural thing that happens by God's grace, we acquire an attitude of gratitude. It's the lens of which we see the world, but everything else is happening. We know there's a lot of stuff happening in the world today that causes us often great concern, grave concern, anxiety, worry. If that's all we see and focus, then our attitude is hardly gratitude. So, but as a believer, every time we stop to give thanks, at any time we celebrate Mass or pray or celebrate Thanksgiving Day, it's an opportunity to focus on the generosity of God for each of us, with things we often take for granted, like the air we breathe, like the food we eat, like a roof over our head, like a bed to sleep in, like health, to just be able to stand and walk or talk or hear or see. There are people who are missing all of those things or many of those things. So again, we don't want to take that for granted. So, the idea is that to have an attitude of gratitude. There's a saying that, your attitude will determine your altitude, how high you go. So it's like your attitude will determine how high you rise or how low you go. And so remember, though, that God doesn't just call us to do something like give thanks. God calls us to be before God calls us to do. You can't do something if you don't exist. So in this context, it is great that we give thanks to God. That's something we do. But you know what? God calls us to do something even more special. Not to just give thanks, but live thanks. Not just thanksgiving, but thanks living. That's the invitation, where that attitude of gratitude becomes a way of life and living, where no matter what else is going on, we never lose sight of the God who loves us, who died for us, who forgives us, who promised to be with us, and who keeps that promise. So as you celebrate Thanksgiving, hopefully with family and friends today, but even if you're alone, maybe you had to work, maybe you're a security guard or work in a hospital, and it's like you got to work on Thanksgiving because people get sick on Thanksgiving too. So even then, again, the Lord keeps his promise to be with you. Take a moment in your busy day, even today, to just reflect on the blessings, the gifts that you often can take for granted. And you'll realize that you have reason to give thanks as well. The love of God, the generosity of God, the forgiveness of God. So my prayer for you today is that whatever your circumstances, you will give thanks. Realize God's generosity and goodness to you, and that you will give thanks. And so I pray that, again, that you have a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving, celebrating the goodness of God. God bless you.